And our breaking news at 11, Portland Mayor Ted Wheeler meeting with protesters in downtown tonight as it marks the 55th straight night of demonstrations. It is 11 o'clock. Good evening. I'm Jeff Gianola, and Mayor Wheeler wanted to have what he called a listening session with the people at the Justice Center, but he was met with a lot of yelling. Jennifer Dowling is on the scene. Jennifer, how did the protesters react to the mayor?
Well, it was definitely mixed, but the loudest voices were the voices of dissent. There was a lot of yelling, and there are still speeches going on at the Justice Center on the steps to my left. And then to my right, there are people packed around the federal courthouse building right now, climbing over the fencing there. We saw a couple people go over. Then we heard some announcements by federal officials. It was hard to understand what they were saying, but we were waiting to see if there'd be any large police response to all of this. The mayor talked before thousands of people earlier. It was kind of a bizarre situation. First, we started out in the press conference at the corner of the Justice Center building. It was packed. People were smashing in shoulder to shoulder, kind of concerning in a time of COVID. There were some people dissenting whenever the mayor talked. Some people were trying to spit over other people's heads to try to spit at the mayor. I'm pretty certain none of that reached him, but it was a pretty tense situation at times, and very, very packed in like sardines, and it was kind of hard to concentrate. The mayor did want to do a listening session. That's what he said, and he was listening to a number of people on the mic. We want to give you his response to a question when one of the people in the crowd asked what he could do to protect protesters from federal agents. Take a listen.
I think what we're doing tonight is actually the best thing we can do right now is be here, be heard, be unified, and be clear. We didn't want them. We didn't ask for them. They're not trained for what they were being asked to do, and we want them to leave.
Now, we believe that the mayor has left the area at this time. We think that he has gone inside. I don't think that he's out talking to members of the crowd anymore, but I could be wrong. It's an enormous crowd. There are thousands of people here. So we have hundreds of people packed up against the federal courthouse building, and we have hundreds of people packed up against the Justice Center building as well. And the smells out here are very interesting, too. It's a mixture of riot ribs who are back grilling in the park. The fences are down at the parks. So they're in Lonsdale Square. We can see the grills going, and fireworks smoke. We have people who are actually right now firing fireworks toward the federal courthouse building, and that usually elicits some sort of response eventually from law enforcement officials. So we're expecting some sort of federal response at some point if that continues, just based on past experiences from these protests. We'll have to keep you posted. No sign of federal officials pushing the crowd back at all yet. Back to you, Jeff.
All right, Jennifer Dowling, thank you.